I think that in as much as what they will say is that they were in agreement that things need to be explained, and I'm going to go in a little further. Is that things need to be more transparent. I gave an example of how they assume that districts agree when they don't say anything, uh, because it's not clearly explained to them that when something's presented to them, if they don't say anything, then it's okay. And so that's the way they're moving on things. So I believe that what we heard today was not a surprise. It was expected. They said everything we knew they were going to say. But I guess it's a question of how they see it where they sit and how we see it where we are. It's not a question of service. It's a question of quality of service, a quality of of assistance to the people. I think that's the question. You have an abundance of people, but where's the quality in the care, in the service? And I think that some of the things we said, I hopefully it stimulated their minds, because one of the main points I brought to their attention is how many of you understand how much money we have? I don't believe any of them know how much money we have. The only one that threw around figures, and I never mentioned the figures. One figure, and it was former Chairman Manuel said 300 million. I don't know if you heard him, but 300 million, and yet that's what I recall back in the day. And and I said, well, I'm kind of aware that you might have 65 million left, up to maybe 100 million, but those are obligated. They're self-imposed sanctions on them. Plus, you have federal sanctions on some of it. So we do know that, and I'm sure that some of them are really surprised, especially the chairman and probably Mr. Manuel, uh, that we may not be correct on the figures, but we're pretty close, and that as was said, yeah, they said they assisted all these programs, and I can highlight nutrition. I mean, elderly, the nursing home, and yet I'm aware that the elderly has been told that they should go out and find their own funding to some degree, that they can't depend on the nation. So they're already in survival mode right now, because that's what they're being told. I'm sure that they'll be pressured to give them money, which they were this year. But in the hearing, in the meeting we were in, they keep bringing up December 2015. We're in 2015. They didn't explain what exactly it means, but my interpretation is they're going to have problems in 2015, December.
So what's the plan to avoid that?
That, we didn't hear any plan. That was just a reason why they couldn't do the payout. You know, but and I think that it's a lot sooner than I thought. You know, I believe they said 2015 December, and the reason it stuck out of my mind because that's mid-year. That's it's not a physical year. That's a mid-year. And yet I realized that the casino is not even going to be making the new proposed casino, not going to be making any money at that point. So, uh, there's a lot of things that we were kind of aware of. We anticipated all the points. Uh, Chairman Manuel, former Chairman Manuel, gave a good history. He wasn't a proponent of the per capita. In fact, he where that's where all our problems started was with Mr. Manuel in not telling people how much money we had and that kind of thing. That's why I was surprised when he said 300 million. You know, Apparently, you heard that someplace.
So what's the plan for your group now?
I think that we were invited to Gilboa District on the 20th, and I presume they're going to ask us questions. And I think it's a lot more than the per cap because some of the statements that were made, we weren't questioned on it. And, and again, I can take that as an agreement that we must be pretty close. Uh, so I believe that some of those questions are going to come up at that meeting, and and I guess we were told, we were instructed more or less, or given guidance to do a new initiative. But as Renee said, that's up to the people. If that's what they want, we will. But there's also the thought that why lower the money? Why not increase it? If they're going to make, there's been this propaganda that we're going to make, hand over fist money from the new casino. So why not raise the amount? Plus, that they've learned to plan more for what they're going to do, and it would just be initiative for the payout, and maybe include a couple other things.
Now, there was also some qualifications to the payout. What did you think of that, or what was the response?
Such as,
High school graduation?
oh yeah, yeah, and we would have to ask the people if that's what they want. Um, that point of the high school graduation has always come up. They don't they understand that a lot of the young people now don't even finish high school, and they squander that money. So it's a reasonable, I think on both sides, it's a reasonable question or concern. And I don't disagree with it, but it's up to the people. Uh, so I think after the meeting with Gawa is that we will see where we go from there. Because I believe that if we want to push this truth out, we can go to each district and get a resolution and approach it from that angle. That's still something. This was our first step. We heard what they have to say, and they heard what we have to say. So we're more or less starting to dance.
So this is round one,
Yeah,
first dance.
yeah, first dance. So we're
Okay.
going to come. We're still moving on it. But all in all, I think it's beneficial to the people because they'll really hear what's going on overall. And I think that from now on, people running for office should really be questioned on their qualifications and their understanding of what's going on. That's it.